Open your eyes.
If you are wondering why everything going on in the world feels so terribly off, then you have come to the right place. A veil has been put over the eyes of humanity. Evil people in high places have been hiding the truth in plain sight and building a false reality on lies and deception for far too long. And now, their time is coming to an end. It's time to fight back, to wake up, and to begin an uprising. Now is a time for judgment.
This is a time for judgment. Welcome to today's show. Quite possibly the most important video I've ever done. It's definitely the most important video I've done in a while. Most of you know I sat through the entire, for the most part, World Economic Forum, Davos, the whole week. Lame. Forum after forum, New World Order agenda after New World Order agenda. And somehow I actually missed this when I was doing video after video on it. I did not see this, so thankfully, because of the website at timeforjudgment.com, a subscriber by the name of Truther posted a clip, which I'll show you after the first clip I'm going to show you, of what they were talking about when it comes to brain sensors. That's right, brain sensors. Now people hear brain sensors, they're talking about wearable brain sensors right now. And in the future, they're talking about brain implants. So brain sensors are going to be the thing before we get to brain implants, desensitizing people with this. This is the most frightening technology I've ever covered. This is the most frightening thing I've ever seen, but I have warned about this for the entire time I've been here on YouTube. And for the entire time I've been awake, I've warned about this. We've all talked about pre-crime. We see the things that are in place for pre-crime to be a real thing. In other words, post something on social media, the police will be at your door because of something you're thinking, even though you didn't commit an act. Now we see a world where, oh, well, so-and-so was inspired because he listened to a YouTuber or a podcast. So the person who did the podcast or the YouTube channel, even though they didn't tell him to directly do it, influenced him. So they're responsible. Well, this is even worse. The first clip I'm going to show you I found after going through this entire meeting. Listen to them talk about this brain sensor. And tell me if this isn't how you would depict hell. This sensor is going to monitor people's behavior, monitor people's thoughts, including, you got a beautiful woman walk by your desk, vice versa. A guy walks by and a woman's thinking about him. Oh, he's handsome. Oh, well, they're monitoring these things with brain sensors. And of course, if you're at work, you're going to be docked pay. You're going to be slapped on the wrist, eventually lose your job, all these types of things. This is one of the scariest things I've ever seen. But of course, the guy who's presenting the video tells us, what's his exact quote? He says you're going to leave after watching this clip I'm going to show you excited, you're going to leave enlightened, and you're going to see what the future looks like, which is wonderful. We're going to be able to fight crimes and find love with this type of hell technology.
And then we're going to do a little Q&A, questions from the audience, and that'll be a wrap, and you'll leave enlightened and excited. So first off, a video. It's going to make you see the future and understand a wonderful future where we can use brainwaves to fight crime, be more productive, and find love. Let's roll.
You're in the zone. Even you can't believe how productive you've been. Your memo is finished, your inbox is under control, and you're feeling sharper than you have in a decade. Sensing your joy, your playlist shifts to your favorite song, sending chills up your spine as the music begins to play. You glance at the program running in the background on your computer screen and notice a now familiar sight that appears whenever you're overloaded with pleasure. Your theta brainwave activity decreasing in the temporal regions of your brain. You mentally move the cursor to the left and scroll through your brain data over the past few hours. You can see your stress levels rising as the deadline to finish your memo approached, causing a peak in your beta brainwave activity right before an alert popped up, telling you to take a brain break. But what's that unusual change in your brain activity when you're asleep? It started earlier in the month. You send a text message to your doctor with a mental swipe of your cursor. Could you take a quick look at my brain data? Anything to worry about? Your mind starts to wander to the new colleague on your team, whom you know you shouldn't be daydreaming about, given the policy against intra-office romance. But you can't help fantasizing just a little. But then you start to worry that your boss will notice your amorous feelings when she checks your brain activity and shift your attention back to the present. You breathe a sigh of relief when the email she sends you later that day congratulates you on your brain metrics from the past quarter, which have earned you another performance bonus. You head home jamming to the music, with your work-issued brain-sensing earbuds still in. When you arrive at work the next day, a somber cloud has fallen over the office. Along with emails, text messages, and GPS location data, the government has subpoenaed employees' brainwave data from the past year. They have compelling evidence that one of your coworkers has committed massive wire fraud. Now, they're looking for his co-conspirators. You discover they are looking for synchronized brain activity between your coworker and the people he has been working with. While you know you're innocent of any crime, you've been secretly working with him on a new startup venture. Shaking, you remove your earbuds.
What do you think? Is it a future you're ready for? You may be surprised to learn that it's a future that has already arrived. Everything in that video that you just saw is based on technology that is already here today. Artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways that we never before thought possible. You've heard a lot about AI over the past few years. Here at Davos, it's been the talk of the hour. But I want to talk about it in a different way, which is the ability to decode brainwave activity. After all, what you think, what you feel, it's all just data. Data that in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence. Consider this: the average person thinks thousands of thoughts each day. As a thought takes form, like a math calculation, you're happy, you're tired, you're hungry, you're elated. Neurons are firing in your brain, emitting tiny electrical discharges. As a particular thought takes form, hundreds of thousands of neurons fire in characteristic patterns that can be decoded with EEG, or electroencephalography, and AI-powered devices. In fact, what you're seeing here is my brain activity while I'm wearing a simple device like the one on the right. We're not talking about implanted devices of the future. I'm talking about wearable devices that are like Fitbits for your brain.
If that isn't what hell looks like, I don't know what is. What's even sicker is they talk openly about how they're going to need to influence people, how this technology can benefit them. And we know that they'll be able to influence these people because we see more insane happening in our day-to-day lives right now without this type of technology. We see the absolute crazy stuff that people are supporting going on in our world. So, of course, we know immediately that liberal people will be on board for this. They're obsessed with technology, and they won't care or think about the dangers of this type of stuff. People like me and you will never obviously go this route. And of course, this all ties in with the mark of the beast. This all ties in. People are like, I don't understand. You say some of this stuff ties in with gene editing, ties in. It all ties together. Just like you're about to hear in this clip. AI will change what it means to be human. This is the clip that was posted on the website by Truther, a good subscriber over there. Listen.
Wearable brain sensors are coming. We don't have very good brain data sets right now, particularly of healthy individuals with continuous monitoring over time. How many of you will willingly share your data? Your brain data, continuous monitoring of your brain. Okay, you didn't ask me with whom. If we can design our world differently, which we can, so that that's not the fear that people have, but there's actually a benefit that they see societally for humanity to share their data, then we'll get these insights. AI will transform and revolutionize healthcare and what it means to be human.
You can even hear this woman ask the audience, who would like to share their data, right? How many times have you heard me say, you are the data, you are the data? And what is the common response we always hear? What do they care what I do? I'm the data. What do they care, right? How much deflection came out from Bill Gates about chipping people and following them around? What do I care? It seems like they care an awful lot about data, right? You are the data. Thus, you are hackable data. You are encoded, and through artificial intelligence, guess what? You're no longer human because AI will change, like that demon said, what it means to be human. Data. What you're thinking, she talks about. What you're thinking, what you're feeling. That's what data is now. It's no longer you as a human being. Oh, I'm feeling this today. I'm feeling a little down. That we know some people wake up feeling like ashtrays, fire hydrants. We know that people identify as many different things every day now. But joking aside, what you're feeling, what you're thinking. This is what they want to know. And this is for many reasons. People are going to get sucked into this pre-crime stuff. And it's so frightening, but it shows how stupid people are. At any moment, your mind can drift. You could be watching Halloween. And you could be thinking in your head, don't have a bad thought, because if I have a bad thought, my pay is going to get doxxed, or an alarm's going to go off and someone's going to show up at my home, or my social score will go down, which means I can't go out of the house for the month, right? But since your brain's already thinking that worry that you might think something, like you saw the woman in the clip who took her earbuds out, she's like, I didn't do anything wrong, but I was working with this guy. Oh, no, her brain waves are running all over the place because she's just thinking about it, which normal people do, right? Well, when you think something, you're like, I should not. Someone's like, don't eat the cookie. And you're just like, I don't want the cookie. And then they tell you again, like, don't eat the cookie. And they're just like, maybe I'll eat the cookie. Why do they keep telling me not to eat the cookie? Oh, crap. Okay, remind myself not to eat the cookie. Remind myself not to eat the cookie. Right? Your brainwaves get manipulated. Your brainwaves can go in different directions. You can watch a movie, and it can manipulate you to think a thought for a second. You can see a beautiful girl in a skirt and think something for a second. Now, I'm not saying that these things are good thoughts and these are good things, but we're human beings. This is how we're designed, and we have to fight temptation all the time. Especially as Christians, we have to fight certain things. But when it comes to this type of technology, there's no fighting the thoughts because it's behavioral control. Behavioral control, which I've talked about over and over again, from Larry Fink and all these big corporations constantly talking about your behavior, dictating, controlling, and manipulating your behavior. That's what these types of technologies do. Now, they'll be marketed in ridiculous ways, of course. They'll be marketed telling you about the health benefits. That's going to be a key trigger that they're going to use. Just like these digital passports, et cetera, that it's for the health of everyone, that everybody needs to get it. Then we don't have to worry about any of these future problems. Same thing here. Same exact thing. But on top of that, did you know? We can monitor how you work. Because as that video continued to go on, I didn't show you the whole video because it's an hour, the woman starts talking about how important it's going to be in the workplace. Why? Because now we can track people's brains while they're working and make sure the whole time they're working, they're spent working. And in the case of the woman in the first cartoon clip, who had a really good score for the month, she got a bonus based on that. Now, of course, I'm not saying people shouldn't get bonuses based on performance and all those things, but that's how they're manipulating people into this type of stuff, almost like a video game. And that's really what this ends up turning into. Oh boy, you spent 80% of your day actually working? Oh, well, you would think people would, but most people have pointless jobs. They don't need to spend 80% and get the job done because they're just really in prison sitting at a desk for 10 hours, not knowing why, but feeling like they're doing something or accomplishing something, but feeling empty on the inside because they're not really accomplishing anything, right? But as long as they do this percentage of work every single day, you'll get a little bonus because we'll be monitoring your brainwaves. But don't think about your coworker in any way, shape, or form. You won't get aroused by it, whatever. All of this stuff, every single aspect of your life monitored. So then they show, of course, the woman wearing what? Oh, she's wearing the sensor around her head. Well, do you think people are automatically going to put a chip in their head? They have to be desensitized. I can't express that enough about all these agendas. So what do? They have, it'll be on the outside, just like your iWatch. What do you think the next step from an iWatch is? And the eye lens, which is the phone contact lens, which people out there probably don't even know about. I covered it a while ago. The next step is in your body for all of it. And it's all going to be intertwined, connected with the mark. You will not be human anymore with this technology. Now, the pre-crime stuff, look, I'd be in jail right now, right this second for pre-crime. What I'm thinking about with Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum, I might be executed on the spot for what I'm thinking. But people hear this and they think it's a good idea. So you get in an argument with somebody, your brainwaves could go to a point where you're like, I want to punch this guy in the face. Or, I don't want to pay my taxes. How about that? All these things that people don't think about because they think that they're protected. They're like, oh, it's not for that stuff until it's all in place. And then everything is just total, utter control that these people have over our lives. You think it's bad now? Now, pre-crime, if you're not familiar with what that is, if you're new to all this stuff, or if you're awake and you've never seen it, go watch Minority Report with Tom Cruise. Movie came out probably like 15 years ago, maybe even 20. Minority Report showed you this stuff. It shows you the flaws in it too, but Minority Report's all about pre-crime, arresting people for crimes before they actually commit the crime. Which sounds like some people are like, that sounds like a really good notion, a really good idea. Oh, so you never thought about committing, you never thought anything ever in your life, but you never do it, right? But even if you don't do it, you get arrested for it. So it's the thought police, in other words. This is the stuff they're pushing in Davos. This is not a blog, okay, ladies and gentlemen. This isn't some blog that came out that some individual wrote. This isn't a skit from Saturday Night Live. This is Davos. This is where all world leaders go. All the big corporations, Larry Fink, BlackRock, the heads of these corporations, Bill Gates, Biden's been there, Obama, Trump. These are the ideas that they have for humanity. You can even see articles, and she even mentioned, oh, this isn't the future, this is now, because this technology's here now. Oh, it's here now, great. Companies already have the ability to decode your brainwaves. Another thing for Popular Mechanics, which seems to be right on the money, because everything that they're publishing is exactly what's going on. But why is Popular Mechanics telling people this stuff? Well, because Popular Mechanics is spinning it as a great thing. Hey, don't be afraid. Let me start desensitizing you for them. Because, of course, we're a publication for them. Artificial intelligence now able to decode brain activity to unlock emotions, productivity, and even preconscious thought. Does that sound good to anyone? You somebody who likes privacy? I mean, I couldn't imagine a person who would like this idea. Yet in Davos, of course, because the people in attendance are all scum shill puppets, it's not like a guy up the road's like, hey, I'm going to wander in here and listen to what's going on. Of course, they're plants. So that's how they start persuading people. Would anyone like this? Would anyone mind having are you okay with your data being tracked and looked at 24/7 out of your brain? People have their hands in the air, these morons, right? Other people, after the first cartoon clip, were a little, well, yeah, I mean, that's a little scary. But as she goes on, she says, well, we just have to, if I told you there were health benefits, wouldn't you be in? They're like, yeah, I could live longer and all this stuff. Oh, well, we need to learn how to manipulate. That's what we have to do. We have to change the perspective on this type of technology. So in other words, you need to manipulate people. And you need to then mandate it and force it onto people that they won't be able to buy and sell and do other things without having it, right? Because, of course, to the liberals out there, you see the ones who are letting people out of prison, letting crimes and chaos run amok. Well, to them, this is great because it'll stop crime. So it's not convenient enough that they're letting criminals out. So in other words, all this stuff was already working because people who were like really sick were in prison, who were doing really bad things. No, they're going to use this as a way of saying this is how we can stop crime. Now we have this technology. Nobody will be able to commit a crime. It'll be utopia. And every moron will believe it. And every person who's smart will then say to themselves, I wish I was living like the Amish my entire life. But it's not too late. So they say it wasn't like University futurist Nina Fahrenheit wanted to bring nonstop doom and gloom during a recent The Battle for Your Brain presentation at Davos, but maybe she wanted to alarm us at least a bit, according to her. The technology to decode our brainwaves already exists, and some companies are likely already testing the tech. You may be surprised to learn it is a future that's already arrived, she says, as you heard. She goes on to say artificial intelligence has enabled advances in decoding brain activity in ways we never before thought possible. I guess they didn't think it's possible until the devil showed up at their door and told them how to do it with the fallen ones, I guess. So what do you think? What do you feel? It's all just data? Data in large patterns can be decoded using artificial intelligence. So it's all just data, folks. They're talking about you. They're talking about things that only belong to you, like your thoughts. You can share your thoughts with somebody. I share my thoughts with you on this channel. You have your own thoughts. You can share it in the comment section. Doubt you want me to know what's going on in your brain 24/7, just like I doubt you want to know what's going on in mine 24/7, right? Probably have a different perspective of people if you knew every single thought that they had throughout a day. I'm sure there's times during this video right now you want to punch me in the face. I don't need to know that. You can tell me if you want. This type of technology is going to destroy humanity. This is the type of technology that's the end game. This is the type of technology in Davos that they want to push. So they say using wearable devices, hats, headbands, tattoos placed behind the ear, or earbuds, the sensors can pick up EEG signals and use AI-powered devices to decode everything from emotional states, concentration levels, simple shapes, and even your pre-conscious responses to numbers. In other words, an invitation to steal your bank card's PIN without you even knowing. Yeah, that sounds real great. Can't wait. Sign me up. Notice the tattoos placed behind the ear. They're also talking about the tattoos that we've seen, the barcode tattoos, these digital tattoos that people are getting. And we're seeing more and more companies push, specifically ones in healthcare, pushing it. Again, tying in with the mark. So they say, in one dystopian but very real scenario, an employer can use AI to monitor an employee if they're wearing the right device and see if their mind is wandering or if they're focused on a primary or unrelated activity. When you combine brainwave activity together with other forms of surveillance technology, the power becomes quite precise. That's not what we need. But again, they'll convince everybody we need surveillance, we need pre-crime, because the country's getting turned upside down on purpose, right? You think they're going to have these things on Joe Biden's head or any of the politicians? Oh, of course not. Who's going to be monitoring? Oh, the CIA is going to be monitoring us, Department of Homeland Security, the most untrustworthy, corrupt institutions in this country and all the countries around the world have the same ones. They'll be monitoring us. Sure, Jeff Bezos can be walking around with one on, right? Give me a break. This, ladies and gentlemen, is something you need to share with people. Share it. Let them know this is where we're headed. I have another video where I talk about the next level of cell phone, 6G, in 2030 is going to be inside your body. These things tie together. They tie together. Once you are no longer human, you have received the mark. You are beyond saving because you are no longer human. Once your genetic code is changed, which is what they're trying to do, you are no longer human. So when you're no longer human, you're beyond saving at that point. Some people are like, well, why? What if you take the mark of the beast and then you're like, you change your mind and you want to go back? It's over when you take the mark. Why? Because there's no going back when you take it because you're no longer you. You're no longer you, as they've said in Davos many times about their tech and gene editing. Share this with people, please. Get people to subscribe to this channel for more important information like this. And please join the website if you haven't, timeforjudgment.com. I also have a Patreon if that's the way you want to support, but I prefer people just join the website. Because on the website, you join it for $2.99, you get content, you get forum, you get something for it. You know? You don't just have to say, well, I support it. This YouTube, I try to do this for everybody who can't do the website. But I hope more people will join because I wouldn't find everything out that I need to find out without everybody else. And I can't cover it and help others out without people like Truther and many of the other people on the website who constantly are sharing stuff. They know I don't have 24 hours in the day to literally watch the World Economic Forum, or I'd have a Scanners moment where my head exploded. Okay? So we help each other out there. We interact with each other. We share other channels. That's what it's about. I hope to see people there. Thank everybody. This, ladies and gentlemen, is holy hell. I thank you again. God bless all of you and your families.